In this video, we are going to talk about ICP, some of its recent price action, the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect the price of ICP to go in the next few days and weeks. So we will be looking at the weekly chart, and what we can see here is that since April of 2024, ICP has been in a very clear downtrend, with it consistently being between these two trend lines. We have this trend line from the highs as well as this one from the lows, and every single time it hit one of those trend lines, it got either a very strong rejection or support from it, and eventually went all the way back to the other trend line. So this downtrending channel seems to be incredibly important for the price of ICP, and more recently, the last time ICP hit one of those trend lines was back in November of 2025. It didn't actually go all the way up there, but it did get very close to it. It first went all the way down to the lower trend line back in October. It briefly went down below it, but then quickly recovered and got a rally from about $1 all the way up to $10 in just a few weeks. But then since it got very close to the upper trend line, it did get rejected off of it and eventually started declining once again. And it did not hit the trend line again, but it is definitely trending down since then. And in 2026, we have seen ICP continue to be in a smaller downtrend, with it recently getting lower highs, but it is actually continuing to hold onto this support area at $2, and it has not managed to break down below it since then. Also guys, if you are enjoying these videos and you want more updates about ICP as well as other altcoins and the rest of the crypto market in general, make sure to subscribe. It helps the channel way more than you know, and it allows me to continue making these videos. So if you want more updates, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and now let's continue with the analysis of ICP. So as I said recently, in 2026, ICP has been getting lower highs, but it is continuing to hold onto this area of support at $2, and currently it is right at it once again. And right now, ICP is at a crucial decision point of whether it can get support from here and get another rally all the way up to the trend line again, or if it will break down below it right away. Currently, ICP is lower than where every single candle was below it, other than some of the candle wicks. As you can see, every single candle body was higher than where ICP is at right now. This is the very last opportunity for ICP to get some support. It is right at the end of these two candle wicks from earlier in 2026, and if ICP goes down just a tiny bit more and closes a weekly candle below it, below $2 basically, then this would likely lead to ICP breaking down significantly and heading much lower. The next support area would basically just be this trend line, which is at lower than $1 currently. There is another trend line of support between these two major lows from a few years back, and this trend line is currently at $1.3. So this is another area for us to look at. But basically the point is that if ICP goes down just a tiny bit more and closes a weekly candle below $2, then there is a lot more room for ICP to continue dumping, and ICP needs to get a recovery in the short term very quickly for it to have a chance of getting a rally all the way up to the trend line again. And the rally to the trend line would be a rally of over 50%. The trend line is currently at over $3, but at the moment it is definitely looking very concerning for ICP. ICP also has been performing quite poorly. ICP has been performing very poorly since late 2025, and really it has been performing poorly since 2024, and even more than that, really, it has been in a very clear downtrend since 2021. So since the altcoin season of 2021, ICP has been performing very poorly, and really it is one of those coins that performed incredibly well back in 2021, but then in the bear market following it in 2022, it got an absolutely insane dump and never recovered. And I think that ICP will most likely never get another all-time high, or at the very least it will not happen for many more years. It is just the reality with many of those altcoins that performed incredibly well in 2021, but then got completely devastated in the bear market following it. So in the short term, the possibility of ICP getting a rally up to the trend line, up to over $3, is still there, but I think that it is getting less and less likely, and really the next few days, the next week or so, will be very crucial for us to see whether ICP will break down below the area of $2 right away and continue dumping much further, or if it can continue to hold on to this area of support and get another rally. Then if ICP does manage to get up to this trend line, if it does break above it and above the previous high at around $4, then this would be a very positive sign of a potential trend reversal, at least for the next few months, and it could lead to ICP going all the way up to this trend line, which is far higher. It is currently at around $6 or so, but at the moment it seems pretty unlikely for this to happen anytime soon, in my opinion. And I think that the chances of ICP to eventually break down below $2 in this bear market are a lot more significant. And I think that in general, we are still most likely in a bear market. Despite Bitcoin getting some rallies recently, I do expect it to continue to be in a bear market, at least for the majority of 2026, and for it to eventually break down below 60K, which has behaved as a crucial area of support, similarly to $2 on the chart of ICP. And I think that Bitcoin will eventually get to new lows for this bear market. And once that happens, I'm expecting most of the altcoin market to also continue to dump further. And I would expect ICP to break down below $2 most likely if that does happen to Bitcoin. And in general, historically in bear markets, altcoins tend to significantly underperform Bitcoin, and I don't really see a reason to why ICP would be any different. ICP is very clearly in a downtrend, and its structure is not very strong. So I think that as we see Bitcoin continue to dump further, I would expect ICP to most likely dump further as well, and potentially even get to new all-time lows. If ICP does break down below $2 sometime soon, then I do think that it is definitely possible for ICP to even break down below the all-time low at $1.1 going further into 2026 or maybe even into 2027. I really don't see a reason to why ICP would get a major rally anytime soon, until we are back into a bull market and Bitcoin is performing much better. So again, there is a bit of a chance for ICP to get a rally in the short term, but even that doesn't seem very likely to me. And even if it does happen, I would still expect ICP in the long term to continue to dump most likely. And of course, this is not financial advice whatsoever, but in my opinion, it is probably not a great time to be into altcoins as a whole, and I would only consider being into some very selectively, only the ones that have a very good structure. And I'm not convinced that ICP is one of them at the moment, and I would mostly stick to being into Bitcoin and maybe some Ethereum. So hey guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more updates about ICP as well as other altcoins and the crypto market in general, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.